All right, Solomon. Hey, I wanted to give you a little feedback on this high street. Um, is a bit of a learning experience for the both of us. Um, I was worried about this when I first looked at it. I thought I could pull it off, but I just couldn't. So here's what we ran into with this one. Um, so when you look at the neighborhood as a total, you've got these, 536s and this 568, 590 that seem to be doable. Um, let's actually we can just go right to the map. So here's our 520 over here, um, and it's not a total rehab. Then we got our 530s, 530s, 500, and then over here we've got these 560, this 560. And that's what I tried to use, and I was really stretching it, and I kind of made myself look bad to the investors trying to do it. Um, because here's what they're looking at. And at the end of the day, I have to agree with them. I mean, nobody bought it. I did have one guy that said he's going to buy it, but his lender wouldn't lend till after the elections. I don't know if I totally believe him. I think he was just trying to get out of it. So let's take a look at right here inside the neighborhood, what's going on. So you definitely want to pay attention to the solds right in the neighborhood. So this I went back a year. Here's my square footage range, and this is our problem here. This 585, just right down the block, total rehab. Does have a cracked driveway, but inside of it's really well done. This was the comp that almost everybody was using, and yeah, it's a little further back, almost a year. I thought I could ignore it, but end of the day I couldn't. There's just 520. And that's what I was trying to sell was this 520 comp because it's a newer, fresher comp. Um, but I mean, it's not bad inside. It's not great. It's an older remodel, um, and some kind of ugly flooring. It's an older remodel. It's like a 5-year-old remodel. That's what I was trying to sell to the investors. It just didn't work. I'm not saying that we always want to go this direction. That's just what happened on this particular one. A lot of times I'll get these sold. I thought I could. I thought I could sell that. And at the end of the day, when you have a property right down the street that's a year old, I mean, it's almost exactly a year old. Um, I mean, that was sold in December, so we're like 11 months off. The market's still kind of heating up, but people are nervous because the elections. Nobody wanted to take a risk because this is a risk because this house is completely done and it sold at 485, and that's where people were at. So hopefully after elections, people will start to loosen up a little bit. But I just wanted to give you some feedback um, to what happened there, just so you weren't totally in the dark. I wouldn't say totally change our strategy. I think we continue to kind of tick along. But in this one, I think you're using that 565 that was way out here, and I probably would have went at that 530 range with our current strategy because there are so many 530s in there, and then there's this 520. I think I could have probably done it at 530, which puts us, um, let's say 530. It needed at least 75, but you don't really need to know all that. Let's just say 65, and so that would have put us somewhere around probably 390. I think I could have got it done there because that's kind of the profit range that somebody would need to be in, that 525 and 535. That's our ARVs that I was kind of looking at that we should have been using. And so that would have put us somewhere around 390. Um, I mean, just putting that in the spreadsheet, let's just make sure that I am, so we're going to say 530 Yeah, so yeah, right in there. So we're about the same when it comes to this. So we'd be around that 388 mark, 390, somewhere around there, depending on what we're doing percent off. So we would have been right in there at that 530. Would they have taken it any at that price? I don't know. I shot back 365 to see if they're willing to talk to us. I might bump it up to 385, 375, 385, see what we can get, and go from there. So I'm gonna try to negotiate with him, but um, yeah. So we'll see what they say. If they take 365, I told them I'd make my earnest money hard right away because we can sell it quite quite a margin at that. So, anyways, I just want to give you some feedback on that. That's what happened on High Street. Sorry I didn't get that sold. I feel kind of bad about it. But that's what happened. If they don't sell, they don't sell. But in this neighborhood, we just had these guys that totally fixed up, not so fixed up, and kind of fixed up, but more recent. So that's probably that 530 is probably going to be our ARV in there, just based on some of these 530s down here. So we only had um, one 560, and that's the danger of just going directly to the higher comps. You really want to weigh the comps that are closer to the property, because I just couldn't get it sold at that. So, anyways, hopefully that feedback helps, and let's keep taking along and see if we can get some properties going here for November.